All right. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to your Friday lighting critique. We're doing it live again. We've got Jordan and Diana and Tristan on the line. More may join. We've got a bunch of images to go through. And we've got a couple of videos. So we'll actually go ahead and start with the videos. Oh, and I should show you this too because I have it up. For those that were able to attend yesterday, thanks for coming out to the Katana presentation with the Foundry. This is Ashley. She is our February lighting challenge. I have her loaded up here in Katana, and she's looking great. So, as always with our lighting challenges, feel free to use whatever software you want. We've got an Alembic file on her, which can be loaded into any software package. We've got all the textures you can apply, but Abel was able to get her all set up here in Katana, and he did some really crazy stuff, which was basically he set it up in a way where, like, if you have Redshift, it will work with Redshift. If you don't, it'll also work with Katana's embedded renderer 3D Delight. So I don't know how he did that. I'm going to break it down myself at some point, but it's a really, really cool setup. He worked real hard to get that up right. So again, this is I've done zero things with her. I've just gotten it all uploaded, and this is what she looks like out of the box. So so it should be pretty cool. We've got the Katana courses now launched and live. And so, yeah, lots of good stuff going on. So I do want to, so we'll go through I'll hit the people that are here first. So Diana and Jordan and Tristan. So Diana, you have your updated animation. And so again, what I'll do is we'll kind of play it. I'll talk about it, and then I'll ask you if you have any questions, and we'll kind of go through that. So I mean, there's really nothing. There's no like major red flags that stood out like once they start moving around, which is great, right? Like this looks really good out of the box. A couple things that I really think could help would be like this table here in the foreground is just kind of like a little bit of a broad shape, and it's really because you're getting such nice dappling with the shadows from the leaves and everything that it would be nice to get a little bit on here as well, just to kind of break up that shape. And I was looking at it because one of the things that you could do is allow, because this motion is kind of interesting, the way he goes from like here into here. And I was wondering if maybe we could have the hat being a little bit of a dappled shadow in there. And then as he pulls it up, that's when it finally gets into full light. And maybe you could even put like a little bit of a rim on it here. And then as he puts it on his head, it would be nice to get a little rim just to show off the finger, and like because that seems like important in there too. So and you would basically do that by having like a spotlight back over here that just kind of highlights these areas and maybe even animates on and off as he goes through his movements. So I'll talk about this a lot with like eye dings and things that you can hide animation in the big move. So like from that move to there, like from here to here, it's over like 10 frames, and he kind of moves a lot. So you can kind of play with the lights and the audience doesn't really see it. And then the last two things I was looking at was his teeth are a little bit too bright. They're in the right vein, but in a couple of spots they really kind of stand out. Also, his lips are kind of goofy, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. And that they kind of look really, like in this pose they look really pink, and then they go like desaturated there, and they come back to kind of like they kind of go in and out. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that, but just something I noticed. And and lastly, her skin like she looks great. Like her shaping looks great. Like looking at her throughout the shot, she flows naturally in and out of shadow in a really nice way. The only question that I have, well, two I guess, is here. It feels like his shadow would be hitting her face, and it's not. And maybe that's just like an optical illusion or something. But because it's like his shadow just like kind of maybe just stops right there and we don't really see it. And then the other thing is like there's a couple points where her skin almost feels a little bit greenish. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't push just a little bit more red into her skin tones to kind of counteract that a little bit. And I'm not quite sure what's causing that, but like I feel a little bit of green in her skin, if that makes sense. Yeah, Diana, do you have any questions about that, or does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll work on those. But the lips on the guy have been acting weird because in the texture map they're pretty dark, but they
Yeah.
I think it might be because of the SSS. But I'll play with that.
That makes sense. Yeah, because they're kind of right on that edge.
Yeah, yeah. And I did have a question about like SSS in dark skinned characters and light skinned characters because the albedo, like the guy in the shop has a lot. His skin is a lot darker, but I was wondering if do they have less SSS or what?
Not normally, but actually it might be just a little bit too high on both of them. Because I'm looking at like there was a part here where his neck kind of where'd it go? Where his neck kind of kinks over to the side, and I'm wondering if I'm not seeing a little bit of that yellow like that color kind of creep in through there. So it might just be a little bit high. Like you might just want to increase your scale a little bit. But generally speaking, I haven't found to decrease the subsurface scattering contribution on darker skin characters because you still kind of see it through the ears and the nose and like chin and stuff. So that's a good question. All right, Jordan, let's take a look at this. So Jordan had a question about something that was produced that too much audio. That was aggressive. Let's turn it up. Okay. About something you saw, and he was just curious about how this kind of look is achieved. So when you do something like this, so this does feel 3D. This feels in the same vein as like a Spider-Verse-y kind of thing. And the way that you do this, it's one of two methodologies, and probably both happening at the same time. Number one is that you write some custom NPRs, which are non-photoreal. It's meant for a non-photoreal render. You write some custom shaders that take the light, contribution and process it slightly differently than would naturally occur. So something like kind of making sure that we get this hard line in these shadows. So it's taking. It's almost like a toon shader is the easiest way to describe it out of the gate, but it does a little bit more than that. It takes the light calculations and the shadow calculations and processes them in a way that's a little bit less real. The other thing that you do is you will on stuff like this is you break out a lot of AOVs, and you'll do a lot of comp techniques to like because let me see if I can find a shot that shows it. So like stuff like she has some specular highlights in her hair, right? That are like a little bit more traditional 3D stuff. But like at the same time, this character has like a very hard rim light that's kind of all around him, kind of even internally. So I'm guessing they're like, pulling an edge mat on things. They're, there looks like to be some comp stuff on top of the shader stuff that's going on in this. And then there's like, these speed lines, which indicate that this is heavily comped. And that's the general approach to this stuff. It's just a heavily manipulated 3D render and then and composite in these things. So, and some of these elements, like that thing is a 2D element probably, right? Like that's probably, you just add a point light in there to kind of get the glow on his hand. And then this is probably hand painted and then comped in, which happens quite a bit too. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's this is who I don't know who made this. This is really impressive.
I don't know if it's presented. It might be the Riot Games animation team.
Yeah.
It might be rather that. Let me check the description.
But yeah, like stuff like this just happened here. Like looking at the red on him. Like again, you can see like this looks like a CG specular highlight, right? Like something you'd see out of a, but it's like being mixed in with this more stylized look, and like a lot of just hand painted textures and like it's really cool.
Yeah, it was Blue Studio.
Yeah. Oh, they're great. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
So they did a lot of was it Love, Death, and Robots? Is that the name of the Netflix show?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of work on that, and that stuff looked great. So this is kind of right in their wheelhouse a little bit. So yeah. So Tristan, all right, yes, we've got some stills here from you. Yeah. So you wanted to simulate like the look of this refraction on the water on top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the biggest thing when you're doing stuff like this, and this is like the underwater, like, is really kind of picking out like what it is about that look that we're starting to see. And it's like these types of like warbly dark and light shapes. And you can see it over here, like just kind of like the waviness of these light and dark value shifts. So you don't necessarily need like a full water sim up there or like waves or anything. I think having, to do this. Yeah, just like having a flat, even like a flat plane with some displacement on it to kind of simulate that look, it would be a good way of getting that. And then something else you may want to consider is getting some bubbles in there too. Like these really help out too. And one of the things that's interesting, although these aren't really doing it, sometimes bubbles, you can check more reference, will have like an inverted, like they invert the image that's around them. Like this will actually be like, what I'm seeing is like that's bright and orange down there. But sometimes when you see bubbles, like that part is actually inverted. That's bright and orange. So just something to look out for if you decide to go that way and find some reference. But yeah, I think just a transparent thing with the displacement on it should do the trick up there. It's up here. In terms of the illumination, yeah, I like this red on him here. I think this is looking good up and through here. This looks nice, like that cavernous area looks nice. I'm just wondering if there's more we can do to get the character to pop off the background. Like I'm wondering if there's a way we could artificially, it might be a matter of just pushing this light more around him. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to get his value to read a little bit stronger. I think. And one of the things too with this blue light is it is kind of starting to push him off of his hero color a little bit. I'm wondering if just pulling him back more into this range might help. Let's see. Yeah, so it would be more of like, and the way that you do that is, and I learned this lighting the blue characters on Rio, the blue birds, is that any time that you like, because that still feels kind of natural. It still feels like he's being hit by that blue light. But anytime that you're forced into a position of lighting a cool character with warm light or a warm character with cool light, is you almost end up lighting them with like a neutral light, like white light, and it feels cooler. It feels warmer on the cooler character, without pushing them too far away. So I would just, like, it looks good on the environment. I like the level of blue on the environment. It's just a matter of neutralizing on the character a little bit so that his red tones can kind of stand out a little bit stronger. And then let's see if we can't, maybe it's a matter of darkening this wall a little bit, like here and here, because I want to build more depth space. And their value, like between here, like reading across from here to here, it's kind of the same. So maybe just I'm trying to think how we can get some more distinct to make it more like there's the character in the foreground, then there's that mid-ground layer, and then there's like this opening where we see everything back. Yeah, it might be a matter of, we got the light coming up here, maybe darkening this a little bit to make the atmospheric stuff back there really stand out. I don't know. Maybe play around with that a little bit. Try a couple different looks on that and see where that goes. But yeah. Do you have any questions about that? Sorry.
No, actually, I guess I'll just have to.
It's a matter, like, it's a matter of playing around with it a little bit. It's just making them different in some way. And because of the color palette that you've created, there's not like a lot of wiggle room on color that you could do. It might be it could be. Maybe it's a matter of pushing a little bit more of this magenta red light into some of these areas. So like this whole area back there feels like that magenta-y color, and then allow the blues to be limited to the mid-ground. You could do that, or you could play with darkening that value. So it's like a little bit of difference either in value or in color to get those two spaces to kind of, because what I want it to kind of feel like we're stepping back in a space and it's not getting kind of pushed together.
Yeah. I was wondering, I added some more reflections on the tentacles.
Yeah.
So last time I really didn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what you thought about it.
I think you can go even a little bit more. Like, it'd be kind of cool to see some reflections in here. But yeah, I think what you have there is good. This one might be a little bright, but the rest of them overall look really good. Like these are looking really nice. Like, do you see, like every single one of these is like you could isolate each one and they have good shaping. Really good stuff down here. Yeah, yeah. I think in these you can even paint in a little more reflection. Yeah, really good job with this. All right, let me hop into Discord, see if anybody else was able to join us. Oh, hello. Oh, Stanley's here. Hi, Stanley. All right. So, okay, let's hop into Stanley. I think, yes, you have one. All right. Okay, so we've got this submission of the the attic. Okay. So the one thing I was looking at with this is, let me think. So, like, this is the first time I've seen this with like kind of gallery lights on it. Actually, would you guys mind muting your speakers for a second? Just because I can hear myself speaking at a delay and it's throwing me off. I'm not that good at it. Okay, there we go. So one of the things that I'm seeing is that, like, and looking at the reference, they have a very, and like I know that you're using these for the light coming in. They have a very simple color palette. Even this one, it's kind of like greens and some like warmer pinks. And this one too, it's like this kind of cooler tone and the warmer tone coming in. When I look at this one, I see there's like it's a little bit more complex in the colors, and I would encourage you to maybe try and simplify it a little bit. Like, we've got the magenta wall here, we've got the green wall in the back. This light feels more yellow. This area feels a little bit more desaturated. And what's happening is there's like there's just like a complexity to the shot that I think we can pull back a little bit on. And that I would say that you have the opportunity. You've got this idea of doing like the pockets of art gallery light, which is cool. But then we also have we have these two. We also have like a really strong light coming in here. We also have a very centrally focused, very bright light on. I would say that I would encourage you to limit it down a little bit and allow the audience to kind of get a feel for one, maybe two of them to kind of help bring the image together. Because right now it's just like we're a little bit pulled all over the place. And then so I would start there, and then if we are going to go through with this light coming in through the window, one of the things I would definitely do is soften these shadows a little bit more, because this looks like what like the softness of a sunlit scene on the like if you're standing outside would look like, versus inside when it's actually passing through a pane of glass and getting diffused down a little bit. So it'd be a little bit softer shadows in there. And then, yeah, like even like within this wall, because it's getting hit by two different light sources, like this color feels different than this color. And it's just creating a lot of visual complexity that's forcing it to not totally feel cohesive. So I think, and this is a totally normal place to be at right now, because you're just like, you see all these opportunities and you want to try all these things. But it's really a less is more approach to lighting sometimes. So my next step for you is I would encourage you to take a step back and figure out the story that you want to tell, and then like limit the lights a little bit to for your next iteration. Are you, if you're available, are you, does that make sense? Do you have any questions? Okay, great. No, it's good. Like you've got a lot of good things going on, and I don't want to discourage you in any way, but it's a very, very common thing that happens in our when I was first getting started, which is just like you kind of just get really excited and you want to just throw the kitchen sink at your shots. And what ends up happening is it can be a little bit too much. So totally normal. But I think because each one of them are like, they all have interesting elements about them. It's just a matter of which ones we really want to focus in on. So, yeah. So thank you for submitting. This is really good. All right, let's take a look. And all right. Oh, hey, Stanley. Sorry, I didn't see your face before. I gotcha. Okay. So let's go through some other ones. And again, like, if you guys have feedback or like things that you want to say or questions you want to ask about somebody else's, feel free to chime in. I'll try and leave like little silence breaks between each one to give some breathing room to allow that to happen. But let's first jump over into Aaron's his animation shots here. So this is, let's make sure I got the new one. So yeah, so this is a new one. This is previous. And then he also included some window reflection reference. So to talk about the reference, these are actually a little bit different. So this one almost feels like a mirrored reflection, which is like if inside the space is darker, it'll create this level of reflection, which is this one where there's light coming into the space and kind of lifting the interior, which makes the shadow a little bit less. But you can see like the saturation levels in the sky and stuff and the detail level. And now looking at his, I think the saturation level might just be a little bit too high on this. And I think let's go back to this one. Yeah, I was going to say the highlights might be a little low, but actually he's right. This actually looks about best. So I think it's just a matter of toning down the saturation on it a little bit. In terms of everything else, yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. The only thing that's catching me is that the underside of this flower gets a little, like, we've got light coming in this way, so it's hitting the flower here. But then as we step through, like the flower gets real dark at some points, and I would encourage you to kind of go into that shader and make sure that there's some translucency there for the light to pass through the flower tip, because it's almost like a thick piece of paper now, where that's casting like a darker shadow where. It would still transmit light through the petals of a flower, even when the light's on the other side of it. So it's just some more transmission there. This light wrap's looking good up here, but there's like a hard line right in there too. So that just might be something in the composite. So just be on the lookout for that. But overall, I think this looks good. I would say we can move on to the interior shot and see how those are syncing up. But yeah, this is looking good. Oh yeah, thank you. Cool. All right, and then Aaron also submitted this one, this sushi reference. So, yeah, this is looking good. I do think that there's more opportunity to add more specularity into the skin coat of this character. And then what we were finding with the rice and some of the really successful submissions was getting some more subsurface in there. And it really kind of allows the character to come to life by having more, you just feel the subsurface underneath it. I think that this guy could use a little bit more love. Maybe some rims on him. It's just like there's just so much light. Like, do you see how there's like a glow happening inside these cucumbers, and there's like variation within here, and there's variation along here. But once we get up to the carrot statue, I guess you would call that, it's just like I want to see some more light happening up on it, and maybe a little bit down here on the base as well. It's just that everything else is starting to come together really well. That's kind of starting to stand out as being something that's a little bit more muted. Let's see. So we've got Hannah. We've got the reference of Spider-Verse, and then these scenes for her attic scene. So Stanley, if you're still on, so like one of the things that's again like what we're talking about, they kind of have one or two main light sources. That's like it's really just about the window light here. It's about the window light here. This one's about the combination of the window light plus this lamp, and it's just having that simplicity. Kind of helps out. Okay, so let's look at the Spider-Verse reference and talk about the evening one first. So looking at the value difference between outside the window and inside the window. It's brighter outside than it is inside, so like brighter here than it is cast on the ground. A little bit, it's pretty, but like here, it's almost darker here and brighter here. So you want to kind of flip that play on that. Also, one thing to be careful of is the light scatter coming through here when you're trying to read back here, because what it does is it pushes down the contrast on this character and makes the most contrasty things here in the foreground. So I would limit this light rays to just around the window here and allow the darkness of this character to kind of pop through here. And then in terms of this light going on, I think I love the way that you can really feel the light bouncing up from underneath her. I think that looks good. I just want to see. It feels like that would be brighter if that was the lamp shining down there. So I would make the source a bit brighter. And then for these other ones, I think, yeah, this one actually looks good. I would just kind of vignette over here a little bit. And see if I can get some more vertical variation going up this wall. Like there's nice darkness along here, but I kind of want it to get a little darker as we get up here as well. But the shaping on the girl looks good. All that stuff looks good. Shaping on this, the light hit on the ground is in the right spot. The bouncy kind of glowiness on these maps is really nice. The reflections on the globe are really nice. And then also just make sure that we're getting some pictures in there or something, because those look like a little bit of dead space. And then watch out for the noise on that clock face. That could be a problem later. Yeah, this one, the light position is looking good. This feels like a funny camera angle. I don't know what it is about it. It might just be that we're like clipping off the top of the door frame here. If it's something about it feels a little funny, and I'm wondering if. Oh, also this could be a thing too. So we've got the light coming in here. It's hitting the character on the front. She's getting a lot of of this kind of like bounce rim on the back of her. Maybe tone that down a little bit, and then just make it all about the light kind of hitting. You're primarily hitting her here, and then the bounce directly on that, and then keeping her back a little bit darker. Her shoes look a little diffused, a little flat, and same thing with her skin. Maybe adding a little specularity in there will help out as well. Good job there, Jordan. Oh, Jordan, sorry, I forgot about your other shot. I apologize for that. Yeah, this is so. You had written. I think this wall is actually looking. I think this looks really good. Maybe just like a touch more brightness here. More like along those lines, and then just allow that to kind of fade off just a little bit. And then in terms of the flame itself, it's tricky. You were kind of painted in a corner there a little bit. Yeah, I'm almost wondering if you shouldn't put like, oh, this is animated shot. Maybe it would just be like putting like a sphere in there, just so you can get like some kind of core brightness here at the base. And then you can pull that into the comp and kind of blow that up and glow that up and brighten it up a little bit. But I think overall it's looking great. I would even, the only other thing would be just a little more specularity on the skin in the key areas. How you feeling about this? You still here, Jordan? All right. Oh, there you are. Are you there? Oh, Jordan, you're muted. That's what I was like, oh, geez.
So, yeah, overall, I'm feeling pretty solid. There are a couple things I feel like I was trying to figure out, but I have some technical limitations still. So, I was looking at that new Disney movie that's coming out. I don't get the name top of my head. But I just thought the skin looked so good, and I really want to figure out how to get that Disney skin, Pixar skin, blue sky skin. Like, I just can't. I feel like I'm missing something about the skin. Like, it feels good, but it doesn't feel great. Like, it's missing some kind of softness to it that I don't know
let's see. So I think it's the. I mean, I think it's looking really good. I think it's probably the getting some more specularity in there. Probably some more maybe some more bump in the skin as well. And then the biggest thing is that it's we like with Disney, with Blue Sky, Pixar, like they have very very hand painted detailed maps on this stuff. So like hand painted specularity, so there's like a little bit more specularity on the cheeks and the head versus like some of the other areas that wouldn't get as much sweat or moisture. It's really in that level of detail that you really start to see this stuff. Like the I don't even know, like the size of the pores are different on different parts of your face, or like just like a little more detail under the eye with some darkening under there, maybe some like little wrinkles around the eye. It's really just a detail thing. But I think for yours, it's actually like a nice. It's also nice stylistically to go with things with a little bit more simplicity too.
And then, yeah, other than that, I think I just want to bump up the eyes. I'm going through Jasmine's course to figure out how to get better eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's great. And then, by the way, somebody shared the location, the rigs, the website that has this rig, and like so many other ones that I've seen over the years that I didn't realize were from like a website. It was so funny. It was like a reunion of people I've seen from like in other places. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you guys all knew each other. So for anyone that's looking, I did just in the character lighting course, I updated some new resources in there, including the Agora community and then the community that has this. So there's links to more characters if you guys want. But yeah, this is looking really good. I think this is, you're doing great. Okay, cool. So with this one, the first thing that I noticed was, the good thing is that the pinkish hues of the face are really kind of standing off and really bouncing. That's great. Now it's just a matter of like balancing that in a little bit because it's a little bit too diffuse, like it's a little too rubbery. And also like we're getting a little bit too much light on this side. So I would really like to focus in on getting the light like kind of here, and I'm seeing it like across his nose, just like more shaping coming around here, and more specularity in the skin would be really great. Blue flame is cool. I think you can even push that brighter in the source here, and then really kind of like not increase the intensity of the areas that it's hitting, but I think it can hit a little more broadly, if that makes sense. So like it's hitting like this very kind of thin area and very small bits here, but I think you could actually have it like even kind of wrap around him a little bit more. But not quite be as intense as the key light. Keep the key light the main thing. But I do think that there's an opportunity to like, because this lantern will also spit light out the back of it, and you'd see some kind of filtering around over here. So I think there are some opportunities to do that. And then lastly, really look at the specularity and the bump in the wings and the garments as well. Really push that, because it's like, I talk about this a lot with him. Like you want him to feel like bats are really leathery, and you want to kind of feel that leathery consistency on him. I think that's really, really important to kind of get that true bat thing. Like that's like the number one thing about them that I think of is just like their leathery skin. And also their strange little noses, and the fact that they wear top hats. Those are the three things I think of bats. But I think that's a good way for you to go moving forward. And Vanessa, and of course the Dame Judi Dench. So I think this looks great. I just think that this is a touch too bright. Other than that, I would just tone that down just a touch more. But I think this is looking really good. So really good job. You responded to the notes really well. Again, and I think that we've got this project as far into this realm as we can. And I think you're good to move on and start doing something else. So now might be a good time to check out Ashley and do another character lighting piece and see where that goes for you. But all right, let's go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and put this in here. And just do, Vanessa, you're here. Hi. Oh, you were there. Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Stop streaming there. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before we break for the day? Thank you guys. And I was looking through the people who were on the Foundry thing, and I was seeing familiar names. So it's cool to see you guys there. It was very comforting. So I appreciate that. But yeah, do you guys have any questions or anything before we go? Okay. Well, enjoy your weekends. Like I said, the Katana course is online. There'll be more lectures joining in soon. There will be let's see, like he's gonna go through like some more complex projects. He's gonna have Ashley in a scene and take her through multiple shots. It's just like we were waiting on some renders and some other stuff for him to get through them. We wanted to make sure to get you guys up and running, and get you from there. Like I said, we've got Michael Callahan making a nuke class, and we're looking at possibly getting some more courses going because they're fun to make. I'm learning a lot. I don't know about you guys. I think it's like I don't know Katana yet. Like I'm learning it in real time with y'all, so I think it's really good. I think like me QCing the videos and making sure that they're cool, or me like just going through the videos and learning stuff. So I learned all about launcher scripts yesterday. I went on so it's been fun. So and like I said, if you guys have questions about any of that stuff, let us know. Abel's right; he's on it as he's going through stuff, so he could even, if things are confusing, he could even make lectures to address certain issues. So yeah. So all right, have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you all on Monday. All right, take care.